Hey, what is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another broadcast here on Break the Chains Media. Today is Tyranny Response Tuesday. Let's go. Let's hit it. Today is the 3rd of March, 2026. We're coming at you live from the great and beautiful, little rainy, little cloudy, mile-high city here in Colorado. You would normally expect like a snowstorm right now, a rabid, like just insurmountable, deep, thick snowstorm. We usually get that in like springtime, but we haven't had any precipitation this year. I wonder why. Maybe I'll do a live stream on the geopolitics and the geoengineering of world climate, weather change, and this phenomena that, yeah, Colorado in the past has had exceedingly dry winters, but nothing like this. What is going on, Melindy? Appreciate you hanging out in the chat. That goes for everyone out there. Thanks for hanging out, being here. Say hello in the chat. Welcome to Break the Chains Media. We're going to get into it. It's going to be fun. It's been a really good day, successful day. I did testify in opposition to Senator Sullivan's SB 26086, the cigar excise tax reduction bill, in a rather clever and hilarious way. We're going to get into that because Senator Sullivan is, if anyone doesn't know, is anyone not aware, he is the avid proponent for gun control here in Colorado. His son, unfortunately, passed away in the Aurora shooting many years ago. So ever since then, Senator Sullivan has decided to take it upon himself to limit and restrict the Second Amendment in all capacities here in Colorado. So I took it upon myself, along with the help and the conversation with others in the 2A community, to show up to this bill, to show off the hypocrisy and the blatant disparaging nature of Tom Sullivan wanting to reduce excise tax on cigars, but yet impose excise taxes on firearms and impose excessive laws and legislation on firearms. But he's going to allow for cigar smoking and lung cancer and chronic health risks, and fostering a community that could very well harm a large swath of Colorado residents here. 24% of Colorado related health issues stem from smoking. So we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about that, and then give you my 2 cents and my kind of insight to the larger geopolitics of the relationship to Venezuela and the United States and the recent happenings with that, and apply that to what's happening now in Iran and the global movement with other large entities such as China and Russia, and just kind of get a better bearing on where we sit in this global arena. But first, I do want to hit into those local issues. So thank you all for being here. What is going on, Taco John? Let's hang out. Let's have a good time on Break the Chains Media. If this is the first time joining us, check out breakthechains.media. That is the website. That is the landing page. You can find all the social medias here. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You name it, it's there. Look up Break the Chains Media. Top right corner, Realm Walker Hot Sauce. That's how you support this live stream. That's how you support this Mile High endeavor with Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. From mild to extreme heat, all these peppers are grown by yours truly here in the Colorado state. Hand-bottled homemade hot sauce from mild. You got the Niflheim and Midgard, a little bit milder flavors, but then you got the extra spicy, the super hot ones, those ones that are daring to pass into the realms of the unknown. Ragnarok is the Norse apocalypse. We're using smoked chocolate super hot peppers, apocalypse peppers, and green chilies. That is smoky, that is spicy, that is arguably one of the best hot sauces you'll ever have. And then you have the red super hot pepper Muspelheim coming at you from the realm of fire. So support Break the Chains Media. Pick up your bottle of Realm Walker Hot Sauce by following Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram or reaching out to Break the Chains Media. But we're getting into it, folks. Check it out here. It's actually rather hilarious. News on the DNC front here in Colorado. Let's get it going here, folks. Thanks all for being here. Melindy, I see you. Appreciate you. Say hello in the chat. Of course, Denver would be a top candidate to host the 2028 Democratic National Convention. What better place, what better choice for the Reid Hoffman-funded child trafficking and grooming, gun grabbing, and immigrant protecting party that is the Democrat Party. Looks like that gay games bid is still holding strong. Denver is named a finalist to host the 2028 Democratic National Convention. Yeah, I know back in 2008, for anyone who lived here back then, the 2008 Democrat National Convention with Obama was here, held at the Pepsi Center. Denver was super proud, super elated to be hosting such finest dignitaries such as Obama and the Clintons, and back then you had the Pelosi's and the Schumers, all the older type, these old guard Democrat politicians. But Denver is going to be a finalist to host in the Democrat National Convention from the Rocky Mountain PBS.org here, from the website here. If Denver wins its bid, it could draw tens of thousands of people to Colorado and once again put Denver as the center stage as the Democrat Party races towards the next presidential election. Denver hosted the last DNC in 2008 when Barack Obama accepted the nomination at the Denver Broncos Stadium ahead of its successful presidential campaign. Notice how they call it the Denver Broncos Stadium, because no one that doesn't live in Colorado has any idea what to call the stadium in which the Broncos play at. And for all the natives, for all the people who've lived here their entire lives, we know it as one name and one name only. It's always going to be called, and forever will be called, Mile High Stadium. Doesn't matter who buys it, doesn't matter the rights, none of that matters. It's always going to be Mile High. Just want to throw that in there, right? With other bidders such as Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia. Oh, wow. Can I say the words? Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia are also frontrunners. CBS News reported on Monday, and the convention is to be expected to be held in August 7th through the 10th of 2028. So Denver is one of these top bidders to hold for a bid to have a bunch of immigrant supporting, child grooming, trans-inducing, tax money withholding, tax money raising Democrats in the state of Colorado. What better place? Because, as it stands right now, Denver and Colorado legislation is unipartily held by these. Denver is held by this one-party rule here in Colorado by the Democrats for a very long time. So the Democrat foothold is strong in Denver, Colorado. So it is a viable contender in the Democrat National Convention bid. We will see what happens. We will keep our eyes on this. But as it always stands and every day here in Colorado, the Democrats continue to push their leftist, progressive, Marxist agenda here. These cultural socialists, they impose taxes and fees and equity on all of us here in the Mile High State, and I am not having it. And it would be fun to see another Democrat convention here in the Mile High City, only because it's going to be rife for the taking when it comes to having excellent in interviews and on the ground reporting, various different individuals, all the blue hairs, all these radical leftists come out of the woodwork to support this convention, to support the Democrats here. So it would be a fantastic opportunity for people like myself and others to just show the kind of character, the kind of conduct that these radical cultural Marxists live by. So we will see. We'll keep an eye on that. Yes, keep moving right on here, right along. Got some more election news. I felt like tomorrow was going to be. I think tomorrow is going to be my day where I'm really going to break down all this election stuff. I got some other stuff coming from Denver Fail, excellent channel. Shout out Denver Fail. Appreciate you being a part of the fight. Some news about Tina Peters. Some news about just the general atmosphere, the general vibe of the SAVE Act and what's really happening. So this is from Heidi Ganal and the Rocky Mountain Voice. So this is a post I think I'm going to share for tomorrow. But I did want to get into the hilarity of the bill, the SB 26086, reducing premium cigar excise tax rate. I'm gonna actually see here really quick. Let me bring this up. Oh, sweet. So the meeting has ended, so I should be able to. Give me just a second, because then I'll be able to actually show you my actual testimony in real time, and we'll get that recorded, because the senator, everyone was actually like, they were like super. The response of the committee, the response of Tom Sullivan was absolutely hilarious. So I want to get this all queued up, and then we'll actually be able to do this in real time. This is actually great. So let me drop this in right here. So for anyone who doesn't know, for anyone who isn't aware, Tom Sullivan is a anti-gun grabbing Bloomberg lobbyist, just totally bastardizing what the Second Amendment is and means in the state of Colorado. He's passed legislation after legislation, bill after bill, every single session. So what we're doing now, I gotta record, because this is the time to record it. Yeah, Senator Tom Sullivan came out in. Senator Tom Sullivan was a prime supporter and a prime sponsor of SB 26086, which is this bill here. Let's pull it up here. So Senator Tom Sullivan, we know him as the gun-grabbing Gestapo bill supporter, prime supporter of any anti-gun bill here in Colorado. Every single session, Tom Sullivan comes out with some new extreme gun control bill, whether it's barrels, whether it's grips, whether it's bump stocks, whether it's magazine capacities, FFL dealerships, you name it. Tom Sullivan's been the prime sponsor supporting it. And Tom Sullivan came out today, and he was in committee in the support of SB 26086, reducing premium cigar excise tax rate. So he wants to reduce the excise tax for premium cigars in Colorado. It would actually create a revenue stream, because there would be an incentivizing method to have more people buy and smoke premium cigars here in Colorado. So from a fiscal standpoint, it might sound like a good thing, but from a logical standpoint, at least calling out Tom Sullivan in his hypocrisy of the reduction of tax rates for these things, but not other things. He imposed excise taxes on firearms. He imposed regulations and taxation on various different FFLs and gun manufacturers. So I used my time, my 2 minutes, for the freedom of speech that I have, to testify in opposition of Senate Bill 26086. And this here is my testimony. This here is my testimony in opposition to the reducing of the excise tax of premium cigars. So let's take a listen all together here. Let's do it. Let's see here. Is it going to play? Oh, hold on. We're going to have a little brain fart here. Hold on a second. Is it going to play? Where's the audio? Do I have audio? Wait a minute. Am I able to hear this? Why am I not able to hear this? Is it muted? Shouldn't be muted. Hold on a second. Let me refresh this. Let me see if it'll work. Are you guys hearing that? No, I'm not. Where's the audio? Hold on a sec. Oh, it's because the page is muted. I am a dummy, guys. I am a dummy. It's been a long day. Let's find it here. Let's find it here.
Hey, Dorn.
Promoting inequitable drug policies that grant privileges to one group of people.
All right, let's cue it up. We're queuing it up.
No vote on
Mr. Blair, you are up next. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Corey Blair, independent reporter with Break the Chains Media. I strongly oppose this bill limiting... Sorry.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Corey Blair, independent reporter with Break the Chains Media. I strongly oppose this bill limiting the excise tax on cigars. While the fiscal notes may look positive on paper, potentially boosting our short-term revenue, the long-term consequences of making cigars more affordable and accessible are profoundly dangerous. As a passionate advocate for common sense cigar control, Because if we can protect our communities from other deadly vices through thoughtful restrictions, why not these cancer sticks? I urge us to double down. We need measures like capping high-capacity boxes at 15 cigar limits. Limit cigar lengths to no more than 6 inches to curb excessive indulgences and secondhand smoke risks. Requiring universal background checks for every cigar transfer, even at brick-and-mortar mom-and-pop lounges, to keep them out of the wrong hands. Implement a 3-day waiting period for anyone who lights up, allowing time for second thought. Keeping an excise tax high to deter future smokers. Don't slash them now, keep them up there. Establishing red flag laws for at-risk smokers and before tragedy strikes. Mandating serialization for ghost cigars to deter basement rolling and underground cigar rings. Phase out completely commonly owned cigar brands like Cohiba or Monte Cristo that hook too many, saving lives one ban at a time. Require a permit to puff for cigars with detachable bands or exotic leaf wrappings. Include sheriff cards, checks, an 8-hour certified smoking class. Requirements that rapid puff cigars are way too dangerous, folks. Encourage secure storage mandates, locked, dehumidified, with lighters and cigar clippers kept far away if children or prohibited individuals are nearby. Hold the industry accountable by allowing and encouraging lawsuits for manufacturers' misconduct causing harm. Grant special exemptions for police and military. Our brave first responders and service members deserve the right to smoke cigars.
Okay, thank you. If you could please wrap up. Your time has expired.
This bill undermines our common sense cigar control efforts. It saves one life. This isn't everything. Colorado Vigilance.
I'm sorry, we're done. So let's see. Is there any questions for this panel? Okay, seeing none, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you testifying. We are going to bring up our...
Fantastic, folks. How beautiful was that? Was that not beautiful, or was that not beautiful, folks? Check it out. I mean, come on. We got to call out the hypocrisy when we see it, folks. Tom Sullivan goes up to bat every time he can to restrict our Second Amendment rights, and yet he comes down here to try to reduce the excise tax on cigars? No, not on my watch. I'm going to show off the hypocrisy. I'm going to show the blatant double standard that Tom Sullivan presents and promotes in our state senator's office here. So that is exactly what I did. I hope you all enjoyed that. But honestly, folks, you saw even the other person, the other witness to the testimony, just laughing along with understanding this. But here's the best part, folks, because we're gonna scroll forward a little bit. I know Michael Vance did a great job with his testimony, but I wanted to actually show you Tom's response to his deterrence, right? These people who are against Tom Sullivan and his agenda against guns. But I wanted to actually show you how he responded to our testimony, right? So let's see if I can actually cue it up here. I'm trying to find the right place here to have him, because he even came in. This is unacceptable. We got to silence. We should have silenced it. You have the ability as chair to silence to silence their voice to be heard. So let's actually hear what he has to say here.
Senator Sullivan, thank you. Do you have any amendments?
I do not have any amendments.
Okay, thank you. Committee, do you have any amendments? Seeing none, the amendment phase is closed. Senator Sullivan, please close.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and I apologize. Apparently the gun acolytes follow me everywhere, but that was a first. And we will certainly have a conversation about that, because we were here with people who came to talk about the business of cigar stores, and they didn't have to listen to that kind of rhetoric that was being thrown specifically at me. And it's unfortunate that we didn't have the ability to stop that, which is in your purview to do, Madam Chair. But having said all of that,
so just in that little clip right there, the fact that Tom Sullivan wanted to curtail my freedom of speech, he wanted to limit my freedom of speech because he did not like what I was saying. The fact that it's not about the cigar bill. It's not about the cigar stuff. So why are these people able to talk? Madam Chair, you were able to silence him. You were able to shut him down. You could have done that. It was in your purview. It was in your ability. BS, Tom. BS. Because I have every right to call you out on your hypocrisy, and I'm going to do it every opportunity I can. Thank you very much. Exactly. Yeah. He can't control testimony. Absolutely right. Ridiculous. I did want to. There was a couple other individuals in this panel who.
And I'll echo what Senator Bright said.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. What happened, and so just so you know that.
So yeah, like he like I want to find this other guy that said like I wanted to be for the record.
That said,
hold on, let me find it.
Remarks that were made respect incredibly the.
And I appreciate that. Comments.
Senator Bright. Literally a struggle session.
Thank you,
right,
Madam Chair. I respect incredibly the level of decorum that we operate within here in the Senate, and
the decorum.
Don't appreciate the demeaning remarks that were made. And if no one else says it, I will say it. I apologize for that.
I apologize.
Was not.
He apologizes.
That said, all
and
know.
I do want to fast forward to actually the Madam Chair actually speaking up.
The reason I did not.
Here.
Sullivan, I am sorry.
To backfill that.
Listen to what the Madam Chair actually said, which I can actually agree with, like to a degree.
Thank you. And Senator Sullivan, I am sorry. I think it is terrible that people follow you around and say inappropriate things. On the other hand, I will just say the reason I did not stop that gentleman is because people do have a First Amendment right to testify here, and it is my belief that we do not hold our citizens to the same standards that we hold ourselves as legislators on the floor, and happy to have more of that conversation online, but I do apologize. And
I just wanted to bring up the other opinions from this committee here, and understand that they are all sitting there in lockstep with Sullivan. Oh, it wasn't acceptable. I didn't hold decorum. It was disrespectful. Folks, you heard it. You heard me speak. Where was the disrespect? The fact that I am merely calling out the double standard shows that these people do not listen to their constituents, and they have no moral ground. They have no consistent thought process of logic. The fact that they can do one thing for one issue, but a complete opposite thing for another issue, is hypocrisy in its definition. So that is exactly why I did what I did, to call out their hypocrisy, to call out their double standards. Rules for thee, but not for me. Rules for thee, but not for D's, right? So that's why I did what I did. And it's despicable to even see that. And the only fleeting glimpse of hope was that the Madam Chair actually understood the principles of the First Amendment. I signed up to testify. I had 2 minutes to speak. They did cut me off, but I did go over. So that we can argue about that slightly, but not really. But the fact that she gave me my 2 minutes, I had 2 minutes to speak my piece, and then she wrapped it up. So she did allow for my First Amendment not to be curtailed. But if it was up to Tom Sullivan, if it was up to Senator Sullivan, he would have shut me down and he would have shut me out. He said it himself. You have the right to stop that kind of speech, that kind of rhetoric, that kind of dangerous rhetoric. Bullshit. Give me a goddamn break. That was not disgusting rhetoric by any degree. That was me calling out the hypocrisy on the left every single time. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I am going to be making a shorter clip of that, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Stankvale, it is in their purview not to hear the constituents. Plus, how could anyone say you weren't being sincere in what you were saying? Absolutely right, Casual Gaming. Hey, what's up, Casual Gaming? Appreciate you here. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you, my man. Yeah, I was being sincere there, and the fact is that like, I don't agree with the fact that you're allowing a larger market for cigars, right? Sure, call it for what it is. I used a gun control argument to argue against the reduction of the excise tax. That's all I did. And on that note, Casual, side note to everything here. I didn't forget about you winning that New Year's resolution or the New Year's live stream. I do have your pins. I have a lot of things going on in my life, but I am sending out those pins to you. I promise you that, Casual. And I know you maybe forgot, but I didn't forget. You are getting those pins, and they will be sent to you this week. I promise. A lot of stuff has been going on. But yeah, folks, I just think it's ridiculous. It's hilarious. I know Michael Vance actually also did a great angle using gun control, but he signed up in support of the bill, right? So Michael signed up in support of the bill, but still using anti-gun rhetoric, saying that the excise tax is a good thing, and using taxation to limit the purchase and sale of various things is a tool and a mechanism economically to disenfranchise people from buying guns or purchasing cigars, right? So the lowering of the excise tax is a good thing if you want to incentivize people to buy cigars. That's why they imposed the excise tax on firearms. This is the conversation. This is the rhetoric that I was trying to call out in my testimony. And just to be clear, the bill did fail. So Tom Sullivan the bill did get shut down. So at the end of the day, I still won. But I don't think my testimony did anything to do that. I think it had to do with the fiscal notes. Yeah, but it is funny, dude. So I appreciate everyone being here. And like I said, I'm going to make a shorter clip of that. But wow, what a fun time to be in. And this is folks, this is the beauty. This is the beauty about signing up for testimony. You can go into testimony on any subject that they're legislating on, and you can write your response, you can write your angle however you see fit that would either fit with the bill narrative or oppose the bill narrative, and talk about larger issues that are happening in Colorado. That's a great way to do it. That's a great opportunity for you to be involved in the local politics. With that being said, folks, we are shifting gears. We are going to be talking about a little bit more global politics. So I appreciate everyone in the live stream. Smash that thumbs up button. Share this video with all your friends and family. Be a part of the chain breakers here on Break the Chains Media. Let's go. Grab that treasure chest. Shout it out. Be a part of it, folks, because I appreciate everyone in the live stream. Great to see everyone here. Great to be a part of the movement, right? That is what we need to do. But we are going to be shifting gears here, doing a little bit of a 60,000-foot view of the geopolitics and the global economics that go on and involved with Venezuela, Iran, China, the United States, and the other major components of this ongoing conflict that's unfolding in 2026. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. And understanding that there is a long storied history, and you can look at these. We can look at the Iran war happening with U.S.-backed forces and Israel from an Israel first perspective or anti-Israel perspective. Folks, I'm not getting into all that, and it's not that I don't want to. It's that there are much more larger gears turning, much more larger geopolitics at play. And yes, understanding that there is a 1,000-year conflict in the Middle East regarding the rights to Israel and the threat that Iran poses, and these the Muslim Islamic caliphates against the Jewish people out there. That's all a whole nother argument. That's a whole nother conversation to be had, and that's not excuse me. That's not exactly what we're discussing here. And I do think that there is a conversation to be had from that angle. And like I said in my last stream yesterday, I am not a supporter of war. I am not a supporter of global conflict. I do not appreciate in one bit the military-industrial complex and this wartime industry, this wartime economy that perpetuates year over year, generation over generation. And the millennials and anyone around during 9/11 understands that there is a propaganda PTSD, a wartime propaganda PTSD that goes into effect when we hear about these foreign wars in far-off lands, and military involvement, and boots on the ground, and lives lost in the United States military. And it's all tragic, and it's all very unfortunate that we have to live in this time and live in this era and understand that there are many different factions at play, right? There's still a lot of stuff going on here at home, and we can't forget about either. Absolutely, and that comes into a large factor too. What about the SAVE Act? What about immigrant policy? What about ICE? What about the taxes? What about cost of living? There are so many other issues that we need to be focusing on at home. However, what Donald Trump's administration and the U.S. prospects have been doing in the start of this year, starting with the capturing of Maduro and the sequestering of oil assets from Venezuela, it is an important dynamic in the strengthening of the unipolar faction that is the United States hegemony in the world, right? I don't support globalism. I don't want to see a globalism flourish under the United States involvement in various factions around the world. However, both of these people, both of these institutions, both of these corrupt states, whether it be Venezuela or Iran, have had intimate involvement with not only our economies, but our elections, but our public policies, but our politicians being funded through various means and networks and organizations. You can include the Israel lobby in that as well. So don't get it twisted when I focus on strategic military involvement, strategic military movement globally. But there is a conversation to be had as to why the United States went into Venezuela first, and now we're focusing on Iran. The United States is destabilizing our adversaries in the East. That is China, that is Russia, okay? Russia has proven itself to be inept when it comes to the military involvement in Ukraine. Ukraine, arguably the whole Ukraine conflict that we seem to forget about now, that's still going on to this day. The Ukraine conflict almost seems like a testing ground or a proxy for how the U.S. through a proxy state can influence and manipulate and operate within a regime-backed war, right? And this is the example that we see in Ukraine. And don't get me wrong, Ukraine has a lot of ties to money laundering, politician backing, and even to a degree election interference as well, right? So there's a lot happening in all of these different arenas around the world, all these different wartime economies and all these different war arenas, right? So now that the United States has extracted Maduro's in our custody. Venezuela is being operated through a different means. Venezuelan oil is coming in through the U.S. economies. We're seeing the Venezuelan oil agreements that took place back in 2005. ExxonMobil and why can't I think of the other company? ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips. ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips had intimate deals, strategic economic deals with the Venezuelan industry in their oil manufacturing, right? They built out Venezuelan oil refineries and oil manufacturing for the explicit purpose of using those outlets to fund and operate within a Western economy. Well, what happened is that you had Maduro, and before that you had I can't think of the guy's name right now. You had Chavez. You had Hugo Chavez, and you had Maduro. Both said, now you know what, ExxonMobil, you know what, Conoco, screw you guys. We're taking over the assets. We're seizing the means of production of our oil fields. That's ours now. And then they completely destroyed the country. 2 decades later, Venezuela was a husk of itself. So that we went in there to secure our oil assets that were guaranteed decades ago through private enterprise. Now we're seeing the United States take its foothold in Iran to further destabilize the Chinese interest in these industries, in these arenas. And totally sidestepping the issue of the radical Islamic caliphates and these terrorist cells that operate within Iran. However, the conversation I'm being had right now is this economic angle, right? The economic factor that plays into the role, and these smaller proxy states, Venezuela and Iran, were being used by China and by Russia to fund and fuel their wartime economies, to build out their war military efforts for a looming conflict in the future. So what Donald Trump is doing, what the Trump administration is doing right now, is he is ensuring that the supply lines to our adversaries on a multipolar mindset is curtailed, is strangleheld, right? So let's take a look here. What are China's geopolitical aims in Venezuela? Venezuelan oil recently constitutes only 4% of the Chinese oil imports, but that share has been increasing. The Reuters news agency quoted two markets analysts who estimated that maximum daily important volumes will hit new highs in December of 2025. China is set to import more than 600,000 barrels a day from Venezuela, a majority of its daily production. For China, Venezuela is an important oil source, primarily because it reinforces Beijing's energy independence amid the global tug-of-war over its raw materials. Venezuela's Mary oil blend is particularly well positioned to do this as the West has sanctioned it. In turn, a lot of Chinese money flows into Venezuela, including in form of credits. Caracas is variously estimated to be indebted to Beijing in the tune between $60 billion and $70 billion. So we cannot take away the fact that this long-standing relationship between Venezuela and China was key to aspects of its rare earth materials and its oil infrastructure, okay? And then Russia's interest with Venezuela, similar prospects, right? Presumably it's also advantageous for Russia to increase its influence over allies in Latin America, challenging U.S. supremacy in the region. Vladimir Putin recently visited from Venezuela President Hugo Chavez in 2001. When Russia became Venezuela's largest arms supplier in 2008, Putin went to war with Georgia following year, and so on and so forth, right? So there is a larger network with Venezuela as well. So this is exactly why Trump did what he did with Venezuela first. It was the closest strategic geographical location to United States. We were able to do in and out, 88 minutes, took Maduro, and now Venezuela is under a new occupancy of government in hopes to favorable deals with the United States and the Western nations. So with that being said, we also need to take into consideration China's response into the U.S. attack on Iran and its foreign policy, because this all ties together, folks. And, the day after the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran, China waited several hours before taking its first official position. It has said it is highly concerned and called for an immediate halt to military operations and the resumption of dialogue. Excuse me. Let me take a drink. There were no indications of direct intervention, but such expectation wouldn't be realistic. As in other recent conflicts, including last year's attack on Iran, China has condemned the use of force while remaining on the sidelines, keeping in mind its long-term interest. What are the long-term interests? We just discussed that, right? K Shuttle 15 says, one of the greatest testimonies of all time. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mokes. And dude, honestly, it's going to go down in the books. That testimony is absolutely crushing, right? So Beijing and Xi Jinping, President of China, Xi Jinping. Hey, Melindy, appreciate you being here. Thank you for jumping in here. We'll talk soon, okay? Rock and roll. Keep it going. Why China is staying out of the fight in Iran. China's military has grown rapidly. It has conducted several military drills with Iran and established a base in Djibouti in East Africa in 2017. But its overwhelming focus is defending its interests in Asia. Take note of that, folks, because that is essentially what America is trying to do with the United States and its hegemony in the North American continent. It has waded into Middle East diplomacy where it has seen an opportunity, helping to broker rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia in 2023, but its views in the U.S. war in Afghanistan and Iraq had cautiously tales to be avoided, said William Yang, an analyst with International Crisis Group. China is reluctant to project military power beyond its immediate periphery, and it is also unwilling to play a role of security guarantor in unstable regions like the Middle East. However, that doesn't change its network and its coordination with its geographical economic stability, right? China's unhappiness with the strikes against Iran is unlikely to upend ties with the U.S. or plans for Trump to meet its leader Xi Jinping in Beijing in about a month. For Chinese leaders, the relationship with the U.S. is much more crucial than with Iran or on multiple fronts, from trade and the economy to Taiwan. Beijing may have had war of words with Washington over Iran, but the downside to creating a new conflict with Trump outweighs the upside. So this is going to be a diplomatic conversation when it comes to the strength that the war with Iran and the United States and Israel has over China, because China understands that China's walking on eggshells right now when it comes to diplomacy with the United States, especially understanding that the United States isn't messing around and it is showing its unipolar party presence when it comes to military intervention. Energy concerns go beyond Iran's oil. China is the top importer of oil from Iran, but the government is deeply concerned with energy security as it has developed alternatives. What's most worrisome is its rising price and potentially losing access to oil and natural gas from the broader Middle East. China imported about 1.4 million barrels a day, or 13% of China's total seaborne oil imports from Iran last year, according to Kepler, a data analyst company. But the firm estimates that enough oil is already in transit to last another 4 to 5 months. That would give China's independent refineries time to adjust and seek alternatives, with discounted Russian oil as their primary option. China has spent years diversifying its supplies and building up its reserves. The loss of Iranian oil seems marginal, not material, at least in the short term. But this is the long-term play, and this is exactly why the United States is strategically getting involved with Iran. Maybe not the sole reason, but a large contributing factor as its involvement with Iran. We are understanding that there is a long-term play at hand here when it comes to the idea and the intent, right? So understanding that, let me find it here. Did I get rid of that? No, it's right here. So I got several different articles here. Iran-China cooperation, strategic convergence amid complex challenges. This was written last year, July 2025. Very good article talking about economic and trade dimensions, infrastructure and development, technology and innovation, geopolitical and regional cooperation, right? So from example right here, geopolitical and regional cooperation. Both Iran and China advocate for a multipolar world order and the reduction of U.S.-led unilateralism. Iran's membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the BRICS presents new avenues for political and security alignment. Nevertheless, the realization of these opportunities face numerous obstacles, whether it be Western sanctions, trade imbalance, regional geopolitical considerations, international challenges with Iran, between China and Iran, cumbersome bureaucracy, ineffective laws in governing foreign investment, and a lack of transparency in project execution can hinder cooperation. Moreover, shifts in foreign policy priorities with each changing in government instability management can act as a significant barrier of implementation of agreements. So yeah, so China is playing this out as well equally. So I'm just trying to wrap up and give you a better idea on understanding why the United States is playing this long-term game. And I said this in the beginning, right? I'm not discrediting the Israel lobby within U.S. operations, right? The fact that there is a very obvious connection and a very obvious relationship with the United States and Israel, and this involvement militarily with Iran is not to be discredited by any stretch of the measure. And I am not for supporting that. I am not for supporting various interests on the relationship with another country, right? The United States needs to focus on America. So with that being said, this segment specifically talks about the American opportunities that come from a restabilized and a refocused and a democratic Iran, an Iran free from an Islamic radical caliphate and the Ayatollah in charge of Iran's policy and its practices, whether it comes from terrorist regime control and this faction-led destabilization efforts in the Middle East, or economic involvement with various other multipolar countries such as China and Russia. So with that being said, the United States involvement does have a long-term strategy, and it does have a long-term gain when it comes to the build-out and the security of the United States in its North American Don Roe Doctrine 2.0 kind of ideology when it comes to securing the United States and its assets and its relationships on the larger North American continent. Felt very good with that. So I do think that there is more to be seen. There is more to be at hand. There's more behind the scenes when it comes to this conversation about the Iran, Israel, and United States war that's happening and taking place right now. And my thoughts go out to all of the lost soldiers and the lost individuals in the war and in the conflict. Don't be swayed that I think that war is a good thing. You know, I'm not falling for this war is peace and freedom is slavery kind of thing. This double speak narrative that happens every day of the week when we hear this wartime propaganda. That's why I call out, it's very reminiscent of the Iraq war, and it's very reminiscent of the same war type propaganda. But don't get it twisted when I see the larger geopolitical strategies at play that does play into a role on how the United States can actually be become the nation that is self-sufficient in its negotiation, in its conversation with its involvement with foreign countries, folks. But with that being said, I do appreciate everyone hanging out here. Stankville, I see you, rock and roll. You get that treasure chest. Thank you for being here for the live stream. K-Shuttle, good to see you. That's a new name, new face. So make sure you smash that thumbs up button and share this video with your friends and family. Anything to do with Colorado, you got it here on Break the Chains Media. We also talk about, obviously, national, international news. But Break the Chains Media wants to break that information to you so you can be a part of the movement, of the information war that is at hand right now. The chain breaker narrative, the narrative that must remain strong at all times, and understanding that there is larger things at play. There's larger pieces to be moving on a global scale and at a local scale. The most effort we have, the most action that we can take, the most impact that we have comes from your local involvement in your community. So as I said before, sign up to testify. Be a part of the legislative session. Look up some of these bills. I know that there's a lot more coming down the pike. This Thursday, the Electric Generation and Distribution Resiliency Bill from Ken DeGraff. I'm going to be testifying in support of that bill. So you guys can sign up. Go to Colorado Legislative website right now. Sign up to testify, folks. Be a part of it, because it is fun when you can have these narratives. You can call out their hypocrisy. You can support good causes. You can put your word on record to say, hey, I support this, I don't support that. And it's on public record to show that these legislative individuals, these representatives that are in legislation right now, don't necessarily have our best interest in mind, right? So I appreciate everyone being here. Casual Gaming, you are going to be getting those pins. I got the pins. We're ready to send them out to you right now. And without further ado, folks, I do appreciate everyone being here. Let's see if there's anyone that we can raid right now on Rumble. We are going to be doing the Rumble raid as always. Appreciate everyone hanging out with the live stream here. We've got, is Owen on? Owen Schroyer is not on, but Owen Benjamin is. Let's go raid Owen Benjamin, because he's always been spitting truth, always been being a part of it. I don't know. Yeah, so let's we're gonna raid Owen Benjamin, because he's one of the great OGs, my man. He is one of the great OGs. You can't bash Owen Benjamin, and I know some people might not agree with some of his hot takes, but I do think that Owen has always stood his ground and stood for his truth and been a wild supporter for a very long time. So we're going to be raiding Owen Benjamin. Without further ado, folks, Thank you all for being here. Come back tomorrow for We Are Change Wednesday on this Break the Chains Media. Make sure you share this with all your friends, family. Smash that thumbs up button. Be a part of it. Thank you all for being here. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.